Welcome to Leadership Edge Podcast with your host, Odedele Tosin, the program dedicated to help you build your leadership capability and become a person of influence.
Hi there, I am Odedele Tosin. I am super excited to welcome you to another episode of Leadership Edge Podcast, the program designed to help you develop your leadership capacity. On this episode of Leadership Edge Podcast, I will be talking about a concept of leadership called Raven leadership. Let me quickly give you background information about how this episode of Leadership Edge Podcast came about. It's centered around a bird called a raven, and I first encountered this topic while I was having my personal study, and I was in scripture where it talked about the flood during the times of Noah, and when Noah sent out the first animal on the ark after the flood to actually determine if the water levels had gone down, and that he sent out was the bird called a raven. And funny enough, the raven did not come back, and until when Noah now sent out the dove, and it was the dove that gave Noah the specific information he needed at that point in time. So I went on to actually look at some of the characteristics of this bird called raven. And before I talk about some of these characteristics, which will highlight the characteristics of a raven leader, I'll just quickly give us background information about that bird called a raven. The raven is the largest bird of the crow family. It has a wingspan of almost 1 meter, and it weighs 1.3 kilograms. It is larger than your common crow. And a raven is known to eat carrion or carcass, and it feeds off dead animals in the water. Ravens are also known to be one of the smartest animals on earth. Some research have actually put the ratings of a raven's intelligence as high up as those of chimpanzees and dolphins. As much as they are smart, ravens are also known to be mischievous. They're quite mischievous in their attitude and their lifestyle. When we look at culture and we look at religious ties to the bird called ravens, there are different meanings that are attached to the bird called raven. In cultures such as the Chinese, Egyptian, Greek, and Siberian legends, a raven is depicted as messenger of storms or bad weather. Asia and Europe legends, ravens are seen as forecasters of death. So different cultures, different religions, they attach different meanings to the bird called raven. But that's not our focus on this edition of Leadership Ed Podcast. We are looking at some characteristics that we are able to see in the leadership styles of some of the people that we have actually worked with or that we have actually observed in times past. The first characteristic of a raven that I will talk about is that ravens are often located in coastal regions. And because these regions give them easy access to water and a variety of food sources. Looking at this, a raven leader is somebody that always looks for an environment that is easy to achieve success in. He targets a position or an organization where he doesn't have to get his hands dirty to accomplish anything. He schemes, plots, strategizes, and engages in all sorts just to position himself easily for limelight and glory. A raven leader is that person who just wants to be like a poacher. He just wants to stand where it's easy to get things done and get away with it. He prefers the easy way to getting things done. For him, shortcuts and cutting corners is the name of the game. And he's that kind of a person that taking bribes, giving bribes, it's just usual to him. It comes easy to him. He doesn't see it as a problem. When you have a reverend leader, ethical issues exist only on paper, and you don't find it in their character. They are not bothered about ethical issues. In fact, for a reverend leader, integrity, that word integrity, is simply a fancy word to throw around, but you will never find it evident in their dealings. So for a reverend leader, everything is just about sharp, get it done as quick and as easy as possible. What you will notice about a reverend leader, because of the fact that he likes shortcuts and likes to cut corners, a reverend leader can never appreciate what it means to start from the bottom and get to the top. He is that kind of person that will ordinarily question the concept of due process. He will always tell you, why go through due process when you can always get the job done by cutting corners? A reverend leader always wants it easy all the time. Okay, common ravens prefer to live in heavily contoured landscapes. Now, this happens in such a way that once the environment changes in temperature, these birds begin to respond with a stress response. They give a stress response whenever the temperature of where they are changes. How does that relate to a reverend leader? A reverend leader can never be found where stress or hard work exist. He is the first person to complain once under stress. Stress gets to him so easily. He will rather throw his boys to do the dirty job while screaming orders to them than be involved in it. And once the heat becomes too much, he will seek solace somewhere else. He's quick to seek solace somewhere else the moment the heat is turned up on him. I remember an image I came across some months ago on the internet where it was discussing about a leader and a boss, and the image depicted a leading figure in two different scenarios. In the first scenario, the leading figure is seen sitting on top of a platform while like four other figures are carrying him on their shoulders, on their backs. And then the leading figure seated on their shoulders is backing down orders to them from atop. That picture depicted as a boss, while the other picture was depicted showing the leading figure right in front of three other figures behind him, and they all pushing the load in a certain direction. And that picture was depicted as the picture of a leader. So what if we are to bring that into what we're saying now? We're saying that a boss is that kind of a person, or a reverend leader is that kind of person that backs down orders. He is never involved in the dirty work. And whilst stressful work is not for a reverend leader, he is ever ready to take glory if the results are positive. And he's quick to blame his team the moment an unfavorable result comes out of that stressful work. This is another characteristic of a reverend leader that you will find easily in what they do. The third characteristic I want to talk about for a reverend leader, using the characteristic or the attitude or the lifestyle of a reverend, is that relationships between common reverends are often quarrelsome, yet they demonstrate considerable devotion to their families. A reverend leader finds it extremely difficult to get along with subordinates and team members. He can't relate well with people. For a reverend leader, interpersonal skills are almost non-existent, and communication calls are always bad. Everyone on the team finds it difficult to get along with the reverend leader. and they try to avoid him as much as possible, because the presence of a Raven leader is more or less trouble. He's not supporting you, yet he's demanding so much from you, and at the end of the day, he's the one that is taking all the glory. So you find that team members always try to avoid being in the presence of a Raven leader because of his quarrelsome attitude, because of his quarrelsome habits, and all these nasty things that come along with a Raven leader. Number 4 characteristic that I want to talk about is that ravens put animals to do tasks for them. They are extremely versatile and highly opportunistic in finding sources of nutrition. Earlier when I talked about how a Raven leader backs down orders to his team members and his subordinates, how he is quick to throw his boys to do the dirty job for him, and he finds it difficult to get his hands sold. I remember when I used to work at Galaxy Backbone, one of my mentors used to tell me that the only way you could learn fast and grow in a niche or in a profession is to get your hands dirty, get it sold, get into the thick of the business, and get the punches, get the heat, and learn from it, and become thick, become tough, and learn all you need to learn to be able to grow very well in the job. But for a Raven leader, it's not for all of that. He wouldn't want to get his hands dirty. A Raven leader does not believe in hard work. He's always on the lookout to exploit people. He sets people to work and takes the glory to himself. He's constantly roaming about, spying on other people's work just to steal their ideas and implement. He's never the type that sits to create his own work. A Raven leader always waits for others to work and are the first to condemn the creative works of people. Meanwhile, what they would do is that once that work is abandoned, they will go behind, pick it up, dust it, and they bring it out as though it's theirs. Sometimes they just listen and pick up ideas, and then they go and present it as originally theirs, and they take glory for it. One thing you'll find with the Raven leader is that team members are never comfortable to share ideas with him. This is because he will take it, he will present it before others as his original work, and he never gives credit to those with whom he brainstormed with to get those ideas. It's just about the glory, it's about the accolades, it's about the shining lights and the awards and the promotions, and irrespective of who gets demoted, who gets sacked, and all those kind of nasty behaviors. A Raven leader uses and dumps his team members. Yes. So another characteristic we want to look at for ravens is that ravens read the food caches of other species. Ravens are known to watch where other ravens bury their food, and then by an act of intelligence, they are able to remember the location of these food caches so that they can steal from them. Ravens are known to steal the food of many birds and animals and mammals. You see, what you find common in an environment where a Raven leader exists is that team members will begin to keep their phones and they put their computers on constant lock. If they have to go make a call, if they have to go use the convenience, if they have to go on break, their phones are constantly on lock, because they know that any slight opportunity that a Raven leader gets to pry into their devices, he picks an idea and is able to go and color it, use it as his own. So you find that team members are always hiding and locking and doing all sorts of funny things in the work environment because of a Raven leader. A Raven leader is known to always snoop around looking for new ideas to read and call ease, and And when he does this, he gets all the accolades, he gets the promotions, and he leaves his team members to wallow beneath. I remember the story of a friend that he told me some time ago. He told me that he had this HOD, and he'll call them for a departmental meeting. They'll all sit down, strategize, bring down ideas, and ways that the department as well as the organization will move forward and all of that. But when they get to the larger staff meeting, they find out that all of their ideas have been attributed to the HOD with no mention to them. At the end of the year, during award ceremonies, the HOD amasses so much, gets so much raise and promotion, and he makes no recognition to them. He gives them no recognition, nothing. You get? So that's a common feature of a raving leader. He's so much about himself and not so bothered about the progress of those that are working with him. A raving leader, after harvesting ideas, is able to store them for long while unveiling them one after the other as pure genius work without the knowledge of the originator. Ravens are considered perhaps the primary natural threat to the nesting success of the critically endangered California condor, another bird species. Now, what this means is that a raven is a threat to the growth and the nesting success of another bird species. And this can be seen in a raven leader too. A raven leader is an actual threat to team members and subordinates. Because of the attitude of a raven leader, he is likely to bar others from progressing and climbing up the ladder of success. They keep stealing ideas, he keeps claiming glory, he keeps earning praises for the hard work of others. Nobody sees or recognizes the other members of the team because the raven leader just sits at top and is seen and assumed to do all of the work. An experiment proved that some ravens could deceive intentionally, at least to other common ravens. This is another characteristic of a raven bird. If a raven knows another raven is watching it, it will hide its food. It will pretend to put the food in one place while really hiding it in another place. As much as the raven leader likes to call people to come share spoils of war with him, he is very, very careful the way he goes about it. He doesn't reveal all the time. In fact, a raven leader is very stingy with information, and this enables him to be able to gain as much advantage as possible if the need arises. And by being stingy, by deceiving people, is able to have an edge over his colleagues and team members. A raven can intimidate birds with the same focal note, mimicking perfectly the crows. In fact, a raven can imitate human speech in captivity. Research makes us to understand that apart from the parrot that can mimic the human speech, another animal that can do it very well is the raven. A raven under captivity can actually mimic what you and I say. And there are other sounds that the raven bird is known to be able to mimic. So what does this tell us about a raven leader? A raven leader can steal your idea and make it sound like it is. It's a natural ability. He could start up a discussion, stay silent, as if he's listening, and then is deriving ideas from team members. He could create a platform to reward creative work. It makes it look as if he's out to reward creative work. But his aim is actually to gain new insights that he will present as is to attract recognition and awards. There's this very popular leader in the north central part of Nigeria that I've seen a lot of youths come to me, tell me that they usually don't want to go to his home to have a meeting with him. Their reason is this. They say he is in the habit of actually gathering youths together, sitting them together, and then just over dinner or over a meal or over a spot, begin to engage them in discussions. And then, he fields questions, just trying to gather ideas from these youths. Now, because he has the network, because he has the resources, because he has the platform, once these youths go, sometimes he rewards them with money, sometimes he rewards them with appointments, different sources of reward that he gives to them. But ultimately, what it does is that once these ideas have been harvested, he is able to put his resources together and he puts that idea to use on a nationwide scale. And this attitude of ease, format of ease, is what enables him to gain multiple streams of income and to survive in the business world. That's a common example of a Raven leader. Okay. One common behavior of the common Raven is recruitment. Ravens are gregarious in recruitment. A juvenile Raven calls other ravens to a food bonanza, usually a carcass, with a series of loud yells. The mantra for a Raven leader is chop alone, die alone. This is something I actually found really, really interesting when I was looking at characteristics of a Raven and how it relates to a Raven leader. I came to understand visually why leaders are like that. A Raven leader is large at heart to recruit people of like minds to enjoy spoils of war. Now, he believes in the concept that once he has many people join him in carrying out those acts and those very, very limiting behavior, it's easy for people to overlook just himself, because he has acolytes that engage in the behavior with him. So it's not going to be, they assume that it's not going to be easy for you to just start pointing fingers at him or others. Your tendency will be to just generalize all of them as being bad. So the mindset for a Raven leader is that when he invites people to come and share in the spoils of war, in times of trouble, he won't be the only one that will go down. Other people will also go down with him in the process when trouble comes knocking on his door. So that's how they think, that's how they reason. Ravens are quite vigorous at defending their young and are usually successful at driving off perceived threats. A Raven leader believes in amassing ill-gotten wealth for his generations to come, including the ones yet to be born. They amass so much because they believe their offspring should live on the wealth and the wealth should not be transferred to another. That is why they systematically create this, should I call it a framework or a system that they are able to develop a system to train their children in their ways and position them strategically to continue from where they stopped. So it's something common with Raven leaders, and you find them easily around you if you look carefully. And finally, the last characteristic of a Raven that I want to look at is the fact that Ravens are actually considered to be the most intelligent birds. They display high learning ability and the use of logic for solving problems. But the problem is this: as much as the Raven shows rich awareness of the environment, they would rather wait for other animals to work for them to eat. It's baffling. A raven leader would rather reap where he did not sow than apply his God-given abilities to produce success for himself. A raven leader is concerned about the next person he will steal an idea from, the next person he will step on to rise to the top, the next person he will sacrifice to remain relevant, the next person he will assign a dirty job and get the glory for, and creatively sit down and begin to think of how they want to get these things done. So, are you a raven leader? A raven leader is destructive to a team and an organization. So the question is, how do you deal with a raven leader so that you can succeed? In the next episode of Leadership Ed Podcast, I will be showing you how you can relate with a raven leader and how you can succeed in the midst of a raven leader. And till I come your way, remain a person of influence. God bless and thank you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Leadership Edge Podcast. For more information, you can follow us on Twitter using our handles at @scenes_R2T and at ODEDELET, which spells ODEDELECEE, and also like our Facebook page, The Edge Enterprise Networks.